Hi, my name is Franz Morales, and I'm going to be showing off how I do metallics on heroic scale miniatures. I start off actually with painting the entire metal area with light silver or platinum colored metal, and then I go over it with Tamiya smoke, which brings out a lot of the detail. And then if I want to sort of give it a more aged look, I go over it with Vallejo smoke. Now, Tamiya smoke is really thick, so it will give you a lot of ease of use when just brushing it on and keeping it in the recessed areas. It doesn't flow away too easily. You could put a pretty liberal amount, as it's not opaque at all. Already, it's showing off a lot of the detail on this gun. And by the way, I modeled it after the guns in Gears of War. So I took one of the close combat bits off regular orc sprue, and I glued it and modeled like attachments to it so that it looks like it's part of the gun, a little ripper gun action. Now, as you can probably see, and I hope this video is showing it off, that I'm not really, it's not really taking a lot of effort. I'm moving it around, adding as I go, and presto, instant shading. Usually I black line, and that works too. Normally I would like these areas here, I would black line and then go over with the smoke. If it seems too deep while you blackline it, don't worry about it, because the smoke actually softens it up. Now, I'll show you that in a moment. We'll let this one dry. Okay, we let the smoke dry off on the model a bit. And something I didn't mention before is that you can blackline even after adding the smoke, especially if you're going to use the Vallejo smoke, which is a browner and more, I guess, dung colored smoke. Now, as you can see, I am just going to do this one last black line here on this barrel, and I could really mess up here. It's really not that bad. You can make it as thick as you want. It's just a way to get more contrast between all the parts. And I'm using actually craft paint for my black. Something that's about 50 cents, and a Vallejo 0. Well, I do have a palette. I normally wipe off on my fingers and hands, and not something really you should do, but I'm incredibly lazy. And normally a lot of people are really neat with their miniatures. They'll have them on a little stand or on some sort of articulate device, so they can just work around it and never touch the miniature. I just don't do that. It's more involved than I'd like. And you can see here I blackline this power claw rather heavily. So I'm going to add the smoke. And here we go. It's actually gotten a little sticky, so I have to add some water to it. There we are. Sometimes it's a little too viscous for my tastes. So, actually I'm using the wrong brush for this too. The one is not good. You need something thick like like a 2. So, there we are. And you can see that it is actually blending the dark lines. So if I could show that to you. I made it a little too fluid, but it's still working. And when that dries up, the black lining is gone. You know, it's faded in with the rest of the black with the smoke. Try to move some of this off the power claw. You don't want too much in any one area. Then it becomes kind of weird looking. Now we're going to go back to the gun. Now I want to kind of give it that dirty brown look. Like something that's been, you know, in the hands of an orc. So I've got a watered down version of Vallejo smoke, which is brown. And I just, you know, apply that pretty liberally. And it gives that nice brown tint. Like there's a lot of grease on it, or dust. Even maybe even a little rust. As you can see, the black lining I've done here basically disappears within it. Smoke also is, Vallejo smoke is also great for shading in golds or brass. I don't know about copper. It's not a color I usually use. But it does gangbusters on just like regular silver metals. And you can see that it's got a really nice look. You know, dirty and greasy, and just like an orc's arm it should be. I also use this formula on the workings of warjacks, and they're you know, nothing too apparent. Just like the stuff that you know, like there's steam mechanics. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I hope you can use it as well. Good luck with your figure quest.